A lot of people ask me about coffee and its relationship to stress. Look, I know coffee can be a confusing topic. Why? Because one week you hear a report on the news saying coffee is good for you. The next week you hear that it's not good for you. So what's the deal? What is one to believe? Well, you know what? Coffee is perfectly fine for the vast majority of people if you drink it responsibly. That means you have to know what's right for you and what amount is right for you. Now, I'm talking about coffee. I'm not talking about coffee that is combined with sugar and fat and fake flavors and whipped cream and who knows what else, where in the end it's a dietary disaster. I'm just talking about straight up coffee, maybe a little bit of some kind of a creamer, nothing crazy, nothing sweet. You have to know what works for you. If you're a little more sensitive, you will have to pay attention to that and either have fewer cups of coffee during the day or maybe cut off your coffee intake at a certain hour. If you're one of those people who, if you had a cup of coffee after 3 p.m., you were up all night, then don't have a cup of coffee after 3 p.m. You have to know this about yourself. If you're someone who could have a cup of coffee at 7 p.m. and still go to bed at 10 and not have any problem sleeping, then that's fine for you. You have to figure out what works for you. If you're drinking so much coffee that you find yourself to be jittery or can't concentrate, then you're drinking too much. It's not rocket science, people. It's not that hard. If you're someone who's very sensitive to coffee but still enjoys the taste, try decaf or maybe half decaf, half regular and see what works for you. It's a trial and error to know what works for you individually. You have to do that. You have to figure it out for yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You know, people are so quick to tell you exactly the right formula for everything. Well, you're an individual. You have to figure out the right formula for you. So, take an assessment. Sit down, think about it. How does coffee affect you? When do you do best? When you have how many cups of coffee or what time or, you know, that kind of thing. It's not difficult. So figure out what works best for you and then go with that. Don't worry about everybody else. And remember, coffee does not mean a drink that is so full of sugar it makes your teeth want to fall out when you drink it. Remember, coffee, just coffee, right? Maybe a little bit of creamer, maybe a little bit of sweetener, but not going crazy with it. There's plenty of drinks out there that you can buy. Not saying they're not tasty, but they're a dietary disaster. You want to avoid that. We're talking about coffee and the effects of caffeine. So figure out what works for you. Most people can handle some amount of coffee. So figure out what that amount is for you, and then don't worry about it.